Thank you so much for joining, everyone. This is the last part of our discussion series for Domestic Violence Month. If you guys tune in on Tuesday, you would know that these talks are designed to empower, to inspire, and to provide the inspiration for anyone needed out there, and also to educate, right? Because we don't know what we don't know. So we've had tremendous feedback from starting the talk yesterday to continue our talk on the Peachcality platform, and then now continuing back on the Project Beauty platform today with Anna. And I want to say, first of all, today is a very, as I was getting prepared for today's chat, I want to say that today is important, because I know a lot of times when we talk about domestic violence, abuse, we talk about physical and sexual, but we really don't dive deep into the emotional effects, the mental effects, sometimes even financial effects, right, of the abuse that we go through. So tonight, I pray and I set the intention that for everyone that's listening, whether it's on this live or on a replay, that if you find this helpful for you, to please share this story, to share this IGTV series. I will be saving that to our IGTV series, because you don't know who's listening and you don't know who's going to help. So please, if you find this information helpful, tag us, tag Anna, and just share that information. So without further ado, I want to bring Anna on. She is, okay, so I call her Anna. I know her name is, that's not her full name, but when I met her at the photo shoot, I think a couple months ago, right?
Yes.
First of all, I didn't know that you were a survivor when I met you, but I literally love your energy. I think that you are a bright light. We also connected on several different things that was very much in alignment with me. And I knew that you hold a very special light inside then. Later on, when I realized your story, I knew why that we crossed paths. And I knew that part of us meeting and collaborating on all these different things, right, is for you to come into your own story, is for you to use this platform to help someone else, because your story is unique and it is your power. So Anna, I'm going to bring you on so you can introduce yourself and just let everyone know, like, you know, your background, where you're from, and if you don't mind sharing as much as you can that you're comfortable with, and just let us know about how this journey began and where you're at now. Okay?
Yes.
Welcome.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me and for thinking of me, and for me to share this story.
Yes.
So my full name is Anazaide. I was born and raised here in Dallas, Texas. But I did go to Texas Tech and I studied psychology, but now I have led my career towards more in the financial literacy and helping people diversify their assets and just kind of teaching them more on how to budget their money. But my story began, I'm a little sweaty. I've never really spoken publicly.
That's okay. And you know what? This is just, I want to say this is like us chatting. You know, just me and you, but we have people listening, right? But it's just me and you coming from our hearts. There's no wrong or right. Like I said, share as much as you can, go as fast as you want. We are here holding space for you, because the more that we can allow those stories to come out, we free a part of ourselves that we hold ourselves bondage to. Because whenever we experience abuse, and I just want to say this for the record, we sometimes put ourselves in a position like we feel guilty for what we've been through. Correct. So when we free that energy to know that that experience doesn't define you, right, then we free ourselves from that. So just go as slow as you want, okay? No worries.
Alrighty. So pretty much my journey began, I would say it was during my college years. So during 2017, 2018, when I really decided to learn a little bit more about myself and why everything had happened to me. In the past, I was in a relationship where it was constantly fighting, constantly manipulation. That person would tell me, like, you're never going to meet somebody that's going to love you like I am.
And this is your boyfriend?
And this was my boyfriend.
Okay. This is someone that you met in college, dated?
So actually we met right before I left to college. So the summer right before, and we started dating. So literally right before I left to college. And it was literally my whole college life. I dated this man. And, but I mean, it goes a little bit beyond that, in the sense of I grew up in a very controlling household.
Yeah. This is important. It's important for us. And that's what I'm saying. Like, give us the background. Because a lot of times we don't even realize that those subconscious patterns come from the way that we were taught about love, right? Because me and you share that same similarities, that we never had any of that shown to us as a child.
That's true. And that's what it was. That's what it was. Oh, sorry. So that's what it was, in the sense of my dad was always very like, don't dress like that, or you can't wear that, you can't talk to this, you can't look like this. And so be home at this certain time. And so it was always very controlling.
Okay.
But And even then, my first boyfriend, he was also like, you can't wear that. I don't want you dressing like that. Why do you have a mini skirt on? Like, it's a skirt, you know?
Yeah.
But little things like that, eventually, once I got into this relationship, I thought it was okay. I thought it was normal. And especially like right after college, it was like, oh, well, now that I don't have my dad telling me what to do, it's my boyfriend telling me what to do at the time. And so it was kind of like normal for me. But at the same time, it's like, it was very draining, and I was doing things that I wasn't supposed to be doing. That I look back now, that I'm like, why did I do dumb stuff, right? Like, why did I go, and when I had a boyfriend, like, why did I go talk to another guy when I was with this guy, or whatever it was? So it was just very, I was just, my actions at the time were not, I never thought they weren't good actions, I guess I could say that. But there was this time right after I came back from, I went to study abroad for 4 months or so. But during that time, it was that boyfriend at the time had gotten a girl pregnant while he was with me. So I was just very lost. I didn't know what to do. So I ended up going to Spain. And even then, over there, I did not get to enjoy my time as I wish I would have, because my mind was over here the whole time. And even then, like, he was still controlling me from
afar.
Yes.
Like a whole nother continent.
A whole nother continent.
How was he? What was he like? Was this because he was emailing you? Like, how was he controlling you?
In the sense of, you're not going to go to Amsterdam because I'm going to tell your mom what you did. Like, I'm going to go tell your mom that you've been doing things that she wouldn't agree on, and kind of send her a text message saying like, hey, Anna needs to tell you something. And then that just kind of leads to like, well, what do you need to tell me? Like, and that's already just being controlling, in the sense of, I wasn't living the way that I wanted to at the time. Right. So after I came back from Spain, I went through a really depressive stage. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
I literally just stayed. I stayed in my apartment the whole time. He had to call friends to tell them, please just get Anna out of her apartment. There's like, she needs to get out there. She's not talking to anybody. All she does is cry and cry and cry. And that's what I did. For a whole semester, I just locked myself in my room and didn't do anything. And I would look at myself in the mirror and tell myself, like, no one's ever going to love you. No one's ever going to love you. No one's ever going to treat you the way he does. I thought that he was perfect in my eyes at the time, and that's where I was supposed to be. And that just really broke me. And I will never forget that moment when I was looking literally at myself in the mirror, telling myself, you are not enough. You are not worth it. No one's going to love you, and might as well just settle with whatever you have. If he's going to support you, if he's going to be there for you, why not just take that?
Okay.
And I've had times where, well, that time specifically, I didn't want to be here anymore. My parents, my brothers, they were like, if you're still talking to this guy, like, you can forget about us. So it was just a very hard position that I was in the sense of, I was so lost. I completely lost myself with that relationship. And it wasn't, and I started seeking therapy right after that, because I knew that I had to do something. I had to get out of that and look for something more. And simply just, I wanted to talk to somebody that wasn't my friends, that they were going to tell me like, oh, well, you need to do this, or well, you need to do that. I needed to seek professional help.
Yeah.
And so I started talking to a counselor at Tech, and that's when that was the first time I heard about like self-love, self-worth, and building myself up. Yeah. And that just kind of, she opened my eyes to a lot of things that I had blocked in my childhood as well. Yeah. And there were little traumatic things that happened in my childhood that made me understand why I was still stuck in that relationship and why I was so obsessed with it. Yeah. And let go. So that was kind of like the beginning of wanting to learn a little bit more about myself and just trying to rediscover my love for myself, and learning more about myself and who I am as a person,
Yeah.
what I had to offer, instead of anybody just telling me what it was that I had. Because this person would tell me like, oh, you're this and this and this, and that's like, he projected whatever it was to me, and I believed it. Whatever he said, I believed it.
Yeah.
So then after that, I just started going more, or seeking therapy, talking to this counselor, and after graduation, I started diving more in the sense of just looking for different alternatives of who other people to talk to, other people, learning other people's stories, and really, really learning how to be okay with myself. Because once I knew that I'm okay with myself, I didn't need that person or anybody else, because I have that love for myself, and no one else is gonna ever love me the way I love myself. And I've been able to learn that. Yeah. And that just kind of took me. That's from, especially journaling. I started journaling a lot, and that just writing all my thoughts down. And even then, like in the beginning, it was very I would write something down maybe like 1 month, and then take like 7 months to write again. And it would take some time, you know, like to get into that. But once I truly just let everything out, that helped so much. And just starting to learn more about, okay, well, now I mean, till the day, I'm still going through my journey and still trying to figure out who I am.
Right.
But no one's ever going to take that away from me, in the sense of, now I know that I am worth it, that I am enough, and I know what I have to bring to the table for any. Now I know what kind of man I want.
Right.
You know, I wrote that down, and no man will be able to just come and do whatever they want with me and manipulate me and whatever they want, because I stand my ground now.
Right.
But that definitely was how I started my journey. And just once I unblocked that, or started going back to my childhood and really seeing like, okay, well, this and this happened when you were little. And little things like, where you thought you were just playing around with your little friends at the time at 6 years old and being curious about whatever it was at the time. Obviously, you look back. I don't want to say, because I know somebody that's watching that's young.
That's what?
That's young.
Oh, okay.
But just like,
there was a violation of your physical space.
Yes, correct.
Right. Right. So there was a violation of your physical space in a way that you didn't give permission.
Correct.
So that happened in your childhood with a family member.
Mm-hmm.
See, and so that was really the foundation in which you felt like it was okay for people to violate your boundaries. And I kind of want to ask you that, because I want people to understand that, you know, because most people hear about these type of stories. Mm-hmm. The first thing they ask is, well, why didn't you just leave? Right? It's like, you're so smart, you're gorgeous, like, why didn't you just leave? But I want to emphasize that we were not taught what healthy boundaries look like, right? When you went to your therapist at the age of what was your age when you went to the therapist for the first time and you heard about the concept of self-love? How old were you?
I believe I was 19.
So by this time, you're well into your dating. Like, you have already experienced trauma on different levels. And now you're like hearing for the first time what it means to honor your space for the first time, you know? So it's not easy when you don't know that it's right or wrong. It's not as easy as we think now, right? Because now looking back, we're like, wait, that was totally wrong.
Completely.
Yeah. So I think we have to be really kind to ourselves in that journey. Don't you think? Like in when we heal, right? That not to judge. Because I went through this. It's like, you're so silly. Like, you're so dumb. There was a point in my life where I told myself that I was dumb for dating people with the same patterns. But it's like, there's no point of beating yourself up. You didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't even know, like, whatever had happened in my past, in my childhood, it wasn't there. You know, it wasn't, it was completely blocked. I had forgotten about it. And so, and now I look back, and that relationship, I'm not going to say that, I mean, it's brought me to who I am now. It's shown me so much about myself, and the fact that it opened my eye to whatever happened in my past, and really digging deep into that
Yeah.
that, and knowing that whatever happened at that time with that person, it wasn't, I mean, I let that happen. And as well, that person was going through some stuff as well, where it led them to manipulate the relationship or my thoughts or whatever it was. So I've learned to forgive that person. Because there's no point in holding a grudge for somebody um, that and honestly, like, it's made me who I am now, with everything. And I mean, I'm 25 years old, and I feel like I'm so aware of all of this. And a lot of people, they're still going through that. They're still struggling to find their love and to find themselves. And and I definitely feel that whenever that happened in my childhood, I was ashamed of it. Like, now, after that relationship, I got to go back and really try to heal that part, because that's truly what I needed to heal, not that relationship. Because if anything, that was the reason why I ended up in that relationship.
Yeah, that was like your awakening moment. It was almost like it needed to happen so you can kind of have self-awareness as to, wait, like, why am I attracting these unhealed people, right? There was trauma within yourself. Yeah, for sure. I saw that in my own journey as well. You know, like my dad being my abuser in my life at first, and just showing me that love hurts. You know, it was like, love is control. Love hurts. Love is hitting. Love is abuse. Love is verbal abuse. Love is telling someone that you're a piece of shit. Love is telling you that you're ugly. I thought from a very young age that that's love. Watching my mom get beat every day, that I thought that was love. So when I found my savior, you know, the guy that rescued me supposedly, I totally thought this was the best man that I could ever get. So I completely relate to you when you said that you thought that this was like the best guy, right? You were so in love with him because guess what, girl? It was codependency.
Yeah.
It was codependency, because anytime we're not validated as a child because of abuse, trauma, we don't have that validation. So we're constantly seeking that other part to feel good. And it doesn't matter if that partner is abusive. We just want someone there. And that's what happened to you too, you know? Because now you're looking back like, oh my goodness.
No, and it's so true. I mean, and just little things, that relationship went on for what, maybe like 6-7 years. And even it wasn't a relationship at that point anymore. It was just wanting to have that contact, that constant contact of that rush. It just gave you that rush of that adrenaline of wanting to keep that drama.
Whoa. I think that is so powerful what you just said. Because how many, oh my goodness, girl, hold on. I am like, that's a buzzword. When you grow up in trauma, right, you think that any relationship that is calm, smooth sailing, like if you meet a nice guy, how many times have you met a nice guy in your past where they're like a normal, healthy guy, right? And you have no drama, and you're sitting there going, oh, he's boring. Your body is like, I don't know this. I need trauma. Yes. Seriously.
And you end up leaving the guys that are really good to you.
That are really good to. Oh, and you end up hurting them. You end up hurting them.
Yes, you end up hurting them, and then you create that trauma. I mean, not that trauma, that karma. I feel like once you
trauma
create
and karma, yes.
So that definitely did happen a lot to me. Where, and even when I did find that person that was really good, I couldn't keep them. I was just like, this isn't for me. Like,
oh my gosh,
this isn't for me. Or even that I would attract people that needed healing themselves. And I would try to help them figure themselves out, figure their trauma out. But then that would put a lot of burden on me. Like, I'm still trying to figure myself out. I can't take on your problems, and not even your problems, but just whatever you're going through and helping you to start that. I can't take that on myself because it would add so much more stress to myself.
Yes. There's so many comments. Guys, I'm sorry. The screen is sideways, so I'm like trying to read, but there's so many comments here of everybody supporting you. It's like so many people are relating to this. And that feels so good to know that, because you know what, when we're going through this, and if you guys resonate with this, please send us hearts. Let us know, because it's good to know that you're not alone, guys. It doesn't matter how successful, how beautiful, what age, what social status. It doesn't matter, guys. I don't want you guys to think that abuse any form of abuse only happens to a certain demographic of people, because that's a myth.
Yeah.
People of all classes and social backgrounds, education level, career, can experience abuse. So don't ever think that just because you experience something in your lifetime that you are less than anybody else. You're not. Look at us right now. I am the first one to say my past doesn't make me less than anyone else. And Anna, definitely not you. None of us has been through abuse. We are not less than. We are stronger and more courageous because we're able to make it through that darkness and be in this moment today. I mean, it's just everything you're saying, Anna. I'm just like, oh my gosh, because we have to understand that we will continue to attract the same type of people if we don't heal ourselves. You brought up such a good point that when you meet the right guy, even when you meet the right guy, you can't even keep him because we don't know how to function in a healthy relationship.
I completely agree. And it's taking time. It takes a lot of time. It's not just from one day to another and you wake up and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to decide to change my life today and be this perfect person. And no, it takes time. It takes time for you to really dive deep into yourself, into your soul, into what is it that you really want. And just because of everything that you've been programmed or manipulated into doesn't mean that that's who you are. It doesn't define you as well.
Can I ask a quick question? Yeah. I know you said that like in college when you got out, that was like you started seeking a therapist, right? Like what was the turning point for you? Was there anything that happened there in that time that was the moment you said, okay, I need to seek help? Was it your depression that triggered it? Was that? Okay.
It was my depression. I didn't want to be here anymore. I wasn't thinking about my family. I wasn't thinking about anything else.
You were suicidal, right? That's how I was. Yeah.
I hate saying that, but I mean, I did try to do some attempts, and at the end of the day, like, I didn't know if it was for attention at the same time.
Yeah.
Or I just truly just didn't want to keep dealing with the same problems. I felt like I was in a circle every time.
Right. You couldn't get out of that loop.
Yes, I couldn't get out of it.
First of all, I just want to say, thank you for allowing us to hold space for you. Because this is why we do this. For you to speak out and say, you know what, there was a time when I didn't value my life enough. And you having awareness today to say, gosh, that was a sad thing. You should be totally proud that you recognize that was a chapter in your life in which you didn't know. But don't ever be ashamed, and don't ever say, just know that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, And I've been there. I've been there in that loop of suicide, because when you don't see any self-worth within yourself, it's like you feel like it's never going to end. Because it's like you keep trying to fix the problem. Because what you were dealing with was someone that constantly needed your energy to validate his own inner wounds. Because if we really break down what this is about, is that you were wounded and he was wounded.
Correct.
And he constantly needed your energy so he can feel validated and full, while he was destroying and killing you.
Very, very.
And when you felt that you had nothing else to give him because you really were empty, he chipped away so much of you. You felt like he wasn't worthy enough to be around. So if you're out there listening right now and you're in that stage of mind where you may feel like you shouldn't be around, please reach out.
Please.
I'm here. Okay, reach out, DM this page, because I'm going to tell you right now, it's not who you are truly inside. Right, Anna?
It's not.
These are lies. You are valuable and you are loved. And if there's nothing else that you get from this conversation tonight, it's that a bad chapter doesn't mean a bad life.
Exactly.
You will get over it, and we are here for you if you're listening right now and you're in that headspace. I just want to put that out there.
Exactly. I definitely feel that. I feel that it's just, and we all go through that. I feel like every single one of us will have a little, if it's not a relationship with a significant other, it's with our parents,
yes,
our siblings, it's with somebody that's close to us, that we let them get the best of us.
Yeah.
And we go through those days and moments where we just want to end it. We don't want to keep moving forward, but it's not the end. There's so much more to it. I mean, I see my mom every day, and until her 40s, she started realizing her spiritual awakening and started valuing herself and seeing her worth at 40 years old. So it's continuously, you're always
Yes.
going to get to know more about yourself, and every single day you're learning something new about yourself.
Yes.
And that's the most important thing, in my opinion, to really get to know yourself, so whatever comes your way, it doesn't affect you. It's able to bounce back, because that's really what it is. Whatever that person is telling you or projecting to you about themselves, or it's about them, it's not about you. It's if they have a mean comment to say or negative action, it's because they're going through that. They haven't understood, or like we said, that person, my ex, he was going through something too, and that's why he projected what I was like. So that's with anybody that could that has that energy. Sorry, we're getting a lot of messages.
Oh, look at all the support you're getting with messages. Yeah, you know, I think it's so important, you know, for us to understand that the healing starts when we get curious. When we start to really get curious about why is this happening? You know, at some point we have to just stop and observe our patterns, right? Because the moment you stopped and said, wait, like, why am I attracting the same people? And you got curious on what does that mean to even love myself? That's when things change for you. When you start learning about self-love, Anna, what was the thing? Like, I know you said that you heard it for the first time through your therapy. What are some of the ways that you started on your self-love journey, right? Because we talk about the self-love journey, but what does that mean? What are some of the ways that you incorporated into your life to start that? Whether it's physical, mental, you know, whatever that helped you.
Well, one was reading books about self-development.
Yes.
That was my biggest one. Like I said, journaling, that helped me a lot, just by writing everything down that I was feeling, and even writing letters to people that I don't talk to anymore, that they hurt me in the past, and writing them a letter and burning that.
I love that. And that's something that we talked about a lot too. You know, it's that energetic release.
Yes.
That's so powerful. I love that. If you guys don't know about the burning release, definitely look into that. It's a very powerful way to release the past from your current energy. Love that. And journaling, like, did you just were you someone that always journal, or you just started that as you started on your self-love journey?
I always journaled when I was little. I used to have a little diary.
Yeah.
So that was something that I always used to do when I was little. But I would say during high school I stopped, and college I would write here and there, but not like I used to, like in my diary in the past.
Yeah.
But
how did you feel when you started getting your words out? What was that feeling when you started writing those letters and writing out your feelings? What was that feeling like for you at first?
It was really relieving. I felt like because there was things that I hadn't said to anybody.
Right.
I kept to myself, that I hadn't even told my parents, my brothers, anybody. So just letting it out, just even on a piece of paper, that literally took off so much weight off my shoulders. Right. Like if I had told somebody. So that definitely felt like a lot of release. I felt a lot of release whenever I wrote everything down. That, and also I feel like sometimes we have these thoughts that we're so ashameful of. We're so ashameful of our thoughts, and we don't want to tell anybody for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And that also can destroy us.
Yes.
Our shameful thoughts of where we believe that why am I thinking this way? Why are these thoughts crossing my mind? It shouldn't, you know. And you start thinking like, I'm not normal.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with me. But in reality, we all have these thoughts, and they're in our subconscious mind. And so definitely writing all of this just helped me kind of start gathering my thoughts too, as well. Also, besides the books, I kind of tried to stop listening too much to music at the same time, because I felt like that was subconsciously just putting things into my mind that I didn't need. Also, letting go of people that had a lot of negative energy around me. As hard as that was, I needed to let go of some old friends that I thought they were my best friends, or that I shared so much with them, but at the end of the day, they didn't have any benefit in my life.
Right.
So that definitely helped a lot. What else?
So just shedding people that wasn't serving your highest good was a huge step for you, because you cannot, you know, that's very important, because I feel like a lot of times as survivors who've been through, you know, trauma, when we get into an environment where people are supportive, you know, that has positive energy, that feeds into you, that pours into you for support, we're more likely to go on a path of healing. But when we're not surrounded by individuals who believe in us, right, it's harder to go on this journey. This is why Project Beauty, right, our intention is to provide that support and community feeling for women who go through trauma, because you hit it right there on the nail, is that when you're alone, you're more likely to go back and repeat those patterns. Okay. But when you have support, it's like, okay, let's hold each other accountable, right? Just knowing that somebody believes in you is a huge deal for me anyway. Like I remember just knowing that I had a friend that called me, you know, like back then we didn't really have cell phones like that. But like, you know, she would check up on me. Like all my friends would abandon me, but she would be the only one that will periodically check up on me. And I cannot tell you how much that meant for me, because when you go through like a bad relationship, a lot of times the first thing we do as friends, guys, is that we isolate that person. If your girlfriend or your guy friend don't leave that abusive partner, we tend to start withdrawing, right? And we're like, oh, okay, well, if you're not going to leave, girl, whatever. But that's actually the opposite of what that person needs. Mm-hmm. They need compassion, support, empathy, not isolation and judgment. I know that it comes from a place where we want to do better for that person, like we want that person to get out. But what we're doing is that we're really, really creating isolation. So if anybody's listening right now, it's so important for us to hold space with our friends and not just leave them hanging. Like isolation is so important.
Or judging them, like.
Or judging them, yeah.
I know that, I mean, I would have friends that would get mad at me every time that I would go back. And
yeah.
That just made you feel worse. And it just made you feel like, why should I share this if you're just going to judge me at the end of the day?
Yes. You know, and that's how you like mute yourself too. Mm-hmm. You know, talking about not honoring ourselves and our boundaries. When we're not able to speak our truth and we have to mute our voices, that actually is another form of betrayal. When we can't speak our truth. That's so real. I love that. I love that. Let me ask you one more thing. So when you started going on your journey and you were about to, like, you see yourself further along, because obviously you're a lot further along, right? Like when you started to enter into new relationships, how was that experience for you? Having to go from, because we talk about the toxic relationship, but I feel like the challenge really comes when you start to go into a healthy relationship after a toxic one, right?
Yeah. How is that? I feel like any little thing, like I said, would annoy me. And because it wasn't the way that I wanted, or it wasn't enough drama, or I just felt, or even when it was too good, I just felt like it wasn't real. It didn't deserve this.
Yeah.
Where the person was like, I want to love you no matter what, everything you've been through. I always kept thinking, like, how could you though? Like after everything I did, after all my past, I don't think you could love me. Like, wow. I think it's better for you to find somebody else, because I'm going to end up hurting you. And I always just kept, and that's the thing, I always kept telling myself that I was going to hurt this person because of my actions or whatever it was. And at the end of the day, I did, because I kept telling myself about that. Or
it was a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. And so it never ended up the way that I never really had like relationship where I was able to really be myself with that person, because I just always thought that there was something they were not going to like about me, and I was trying to have that. And even then, after that relationship, I just went crazy. I just wanted to do whatever I wanted. Nobody could control me, not my parents, not anybody. Like I just wanted to let loose, do whatever I wanted. And I mean, obviously that kind of, now I look at it and I'm like, okay, I did whatever I had to do. I lived my life. But now I get to move forward and see what is it that I truly want. I'm not just going to play around and do whatever it was, get into whatever relationship just because I want to have somebody there. Because that's the thing. I don't need anybody anymore. I don't need a person. I thought that having somebody next to you meant that that's happiness. That's how
love,
having love. But you don't. At the end of the day, if you have enough love for yourself, you don't need anybody else. That person that comes along is just kind of going to complement your love. Mm-hmm. It's not that you need them right there. So I'm still going through that journey in the sense of finding that, and
it's a journey, you know, and it is a journey. It doesn't just end. It doesn't just, oh, there you are. It doesn't, like, it is a journey. Healing is a journey. I want to continue to emphasize that healing is not linear. Healing doesn't go from here to here. Healing, like I said, goes from, this is healing. It does not look like anybody else's journey. There is no manual. Do not compare your healing journey to anyone else. Yeah. And guess what? You're going to go through parts of your life where you thought that maybe you've healed that part of yourself, and you may go through 3 years later and then something gets triggered and it comes back up. It is totally normal. We got to give ourselves grace during this time. You know, I think that is so important, that number one, to build that foundation of self-love. And I feel like you really are focusing on that. And that is exactly where we need to be. When you get to the place where you can say, someone can come and compliment my lifestyle, but it's not a completion of my life, that's when you truly understand the foundation of self, the foundation of self-love. But not only that, is that when you get into the energy of truly loving yourself, that's when you really attract those healthy relationships, right? It's when you're not looking, that's when you actually find.
And I agree with that. It just comes out of nowhere.
Exactly, exactly. What are some of the last, if you have anything to say to anyone that's listening, that is just trying to get started, or any advice at all, you know, that you want to share, what would it be that you want to share with our listeners today?
I would like to share that no matter what you've been through, it's not the end. You may have lost yourself during that time, but once you start digging into yourself and start thinking about who you want to be and you want to create yourself, because whatever happened in your past doesn't mean anything. It just means that you have a great story, a tremendous story to share that's going to help other people surpass whatever they're going through. And knowing that by loving yourself, no one else can affect you. Whatever comes your way, you will learn to be okay with it and to understand that it's them, that they need to focus on whatever they're trying to project on you. And that we can change our lifestyle. We can change who we are. And we're not obligated to be the person that we were 5 seconds ago. 5 minutes.
Yeah, seriously, girl, 5 seconds. I like that you said that.
We're not. We can literally change who we are by changing our mindset. And that goes with truly taking the time to spend time spend time alone in your thoughts. I think that meditation has helped a lot. And knowing that you're not alone. Yeah. Whatever it is that you're going through, you're not alone. Somebody in this life has been through something similar to you. And it's okay to talk about it.
That's right.
It's okay to talk about it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your heart. I felt that. Like, I know that what you just said is touching lives. Thank you for being a light tonight. Thank you for showing up for yourself and any women in this community that needed to hear this message tonight, because we are healing. And that is the newest bag, girl. That is the new bag. And I am just tremendously grateful for your energy, your love. Oh my gosh. I'm just like getting so emotional, because I know that the journey that you've been on, I know that we can reflect back and smile about it now, but I know that when you're going through it, it wasn't always easy. So give yourself a pat on the back. I want to give you a virtual hug, and thank you. I love you, Anna. And just in case you guys are wondering, please, please, please check out Anna in our newest campaign. We have a self-affirmation collection that we just came out with. Anna is one of our models that we feature in the campaign. It was very important for me that we feature survivors as models, because so many times after the traumatic experiences, we need help seeing our beauty. And I just want to showcase to the world that Survivor Strong is just as beautiful. We are warriors and we are victors. And if you guys want to check out our new line, please go to our link in our bio. We have 3 amazing shirts being modeled by survivors, Anna, Desiree, and Shashi. And each affirmation is designed to help you anchor that thought, right? You had on, I'm intuitive. How did you feel wearing that shirt modeling? I want to hear from you. Like, how did you feel being in that energy and just seeing that affirmation when you were wearing it that day?
Definitely to follow my gut, and that I was there for a reason.
Yeah, for sure.
That I need to own it. Whatever it is, I need to own it. Get out of my comfort zone.
Yes.
And be in the present.
Yes. Love it. Love it. Yeah, please check out the line. Like I said, I just want to create a line where we can look in the mirror, right? Like, you put on the shirt, and every time I looked in the mirror, my favorite one is, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. There's 3 different designs. There's I embrace my journey, I'm intuitive, which is the one that Anna wore, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And every time I wear my I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, it's like I remind myself, girl, those experiences are your stepping stone. I would have never started Project Beauty if I didn't go through the most traumatic experiences of my life. If I wasn't beaten, branded, left to die, Project Beauty probably didn't exist. Like, it probably would have never come to fruition. So I always say that I am so thankful for those dark experiences because it truly showed me my light. And that's exactly what you're saying. So anyways, thank you so much, everyone, for checking out. Please go to our link in our bio to check out the shirts. 50% of the self-affirmation collection will support our mission of empowering survivors that we serve in the shelter. We also have a deck of affirmation cards. They're absolutely beautiful that you can also purchase that anchor your positive thought and energy. I use affirmations every single day. Anna, I know you do. How has affirmations helped you, by the way? Because I know we both talked about this offline.
I love them. I mean, every single day, just saying something affirmative in the sense of I'm enough. Just simply by saying I am enough.
Yes.
Is a lot. And I actually used to work out at elementary school and tell girls to say affirmations to themselves every single day.
Yes.
And never forget that.
Yes.
So it definitely, it brings so much power to you. And,
yeah.
And you start seeing things in a different perspective, especially about yourself. And you start believing in yourself. That's what really.
Yes. Just like negative talk chips away, positive talk rebuilds. So this is one of the samples of the affirmation cards. I just want to show you guys while you guys are online. I don't know if you guys can see it, but these are so beautiful. I know it's kind of, there you go. So each affirmation is designed to anchor a positive energy. So we have one that's I'm never alone. I'm always guided. I'm at peace. I mean, these are just beautiful cards that we've created to help each one of you anchor your affirmations every day. What's really cool about these affirmation guys is that for every deck you purchase, one deck is being donated to a woman that we serve in the shelter. So every time you empower yourself, a woman in need is going to get their empowerment too. That's another bonus about these affirmation cards is that we're actually employing women survivors that are living at the shelter. We're providing jobs through these affirmation cards so that they can regain their financial independence, so they can rebuild their life. So this is incredible. Please, please, please check it out. Thank you for everyone's support. Thank you for all the positive comments, girl. I cannot wait to scroll through. Thank you. This is what we want to do. We want to just provide that space. When you get manipulated, they're trying to isolate you. That's right. And you just got to know that that is their tactic, right? To not be isolated. Check on your friends. So many people experience to get strong. That's right. We overcome. We're brave. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Anna. Oh my gosh, you guys are just amazing. This is so beautiful. And you know what? There's nothing like the feeling of coming out on the other end of it and being able to share your victory, you know, and saying that, yes, we heal. We are healing. We are growing. We are evolving. Oh, thank you, Nancy. You know what? Thank you for shedding your tears, because each time we cry, guys, because I used to be ashamed of crying. Each time we cry, we actually free the energy of our pain. So don't be ashamed of your tears. Let them out. Be proud of your story. Let your everything out, guys. Thank you so much. I am going to save this on our IGTV series. So I'm asking everyone that joined, if you find this, you know, informative, helpful, tag, share, because you never know who's going to be impacted and who's going to get help from this story. Anna, you're incredible. I love calling you Anna. I hope that's okay, because I don't want to script your name. And Brianna calls you Anna, so I was like, I'm going to call her Anna too. Thank you for your heart.
I'm so happy everybody got something from it and that you showed so much support. I truly appreciate it. Everybody that tuned in.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful night. Please, please, please check out our website, support our mission. Please come to the Holiday Fest December 5th. We're going to have a huge state of kindness. So stay tuned for that. We'll be posting more. So thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Bye.
I enjoyed.